Properties of multiplication. The multiplication properties of 0 says that the product of any number and 0 is 0. In symbols, this is written as a times 0 equals 0 and 0 times a equals 0. The letter a represents any number. The reason this works is that multiplication can mean equal groups. If you have 7 groups of 0 objects, then you have 0 objects total. If you have 0 groups of 7 objects, you also have 0 objects total. Either way, nothing is being counted. The identity property of multiplication says that multiplying any number by 1 gives the same number back. In symbols, this is written as 1 times a equals a and a times 1 equals a. Again, a represents any number. The number 1 is called the multiplicative identity. An identity number is a number that leaves another number unchanged when used in an operation. For multiplication, 1 is the identity because multiplying by 1 does not change the value. For example, 1 times 37 equals 37, and 37 times 1 equals 37. This makes sense because one group of 37 is just 37, and 37 groups of 1 also totals 37. The commutative property of multiplication says that changing the order of the factors does not change the product. In symbols, a times b equals b times a. The letters a and b represent any numbers. The word commutative refers to changing order. This property also appears in addition because 3 plus 5 equals 5 plus 3. In multiplication, the same type of idea holds. For example, 4 times 9 equals 36 and 9 times 4 equals 36. A useful way to understand this is with arrays. If you arrange 4 rows of 9 counters, you have 36 counters. If you turn the array sideways, you now see 9 rows of 4 counters, but the total number of counters did not change. The physical arrangement changed, but the product stayed the same. When we multiply 3 or 4 or more numbers, the way we group the factors does not change the product. This is called the associative property of multiplication. The word associate means to group together. In multiplication, parentheses show which numbers are grouped together first. The associative property of multiplication says that changing the group of the factors does not change the answer. The product of a times b times c equals a times the product of b times c. In this formula, a, b, and c represent any numbers. The dot means multiplication. The parentheses tell us which multiplication to do first. For example, the product of 2 and 5 times 4 equals 2 times the product of 5 and 4. On the left side, we multiply 2 times 5 first. That gives us 10 times 4 equals 40. On the right side, we multiply 5 by 4 first. That gives us 2 times 20 equals 40. Both groupings give the same product, 40. The order of the numbers stayed the same, but the grouping changed. That is the important difference between the associative property and the commutative property. The commutative property changes the order of the factors. The associative property changes the grouping of the factors. This property is useful because some groupings make multiplication easier. For example, 4 times 7 times 25. It may be easier to group 4 and 25 first because 4 times 25 equals 100. Then we can multiply 100 times 7 to get 700. The product is 700. The associative property lets us choose a convenient grouping without changing the value of the expression.